So these are the 6 trading bots you'll be getting by the end of this video. They're actually 7, but this won't be included. I'll explain why later. So all these 6 all use the awesome oscillator. Let me just switch to trading view. It has a better UI. So the awesome oscillator is made up of 2 main moving averages. One is the slow, one is fast. The fast one is uses a 5 period, and the slow one uses a 34. So if you were to actually inspect the actual MQL5 code, you can see we do use the 5 and the 34. We also use the price median instead of a close when you're calculating the awesome oscillator. So the main strategy used with this indicator is, so this green and red, these are histograms, and then you have this 0 line right here. So the main strategy is, once price moves from below the 0 line and then goes up, we make a buy, and then the opposite is true. When price goes down, we make a sell. So maybe this will be a good visualization to see, and maybe this. So the red and green mainly come as a result of momentum. Green means momentum is being gained in that specific direction. So if it's above the 0, we're gaining momentum. The buyers are gaining momentum. And then if it goes to red, the sellers are starting to gain more momentum, right? It's all about momentum, the colors. So how the 6 bots come about is, let's go back. So the 6 trading bots come as a result of 4 things. So the very first main difference is, I've just explained the basic strategy where we go above the 0 line, we make a buy, we go below, we make a sell. So I've made an adjustment that says, so let's say if you were to get into a buy right here, we would then get into that trade and then exit the trade when the colors change to red. So this will be our exit point. If we were to visualize that on the chart, this is a long. So in this case, what would happen is, so this is where would have gotten into the trade. So let's say, for example, we are aiming for a 1:2 reward ratio, like that. You can check here. So we get into the trade, and then so in the first case where we're not leaving the, we're not changing, we're not closing the trade when a reversal happens, would stay in this trade until either the stop loss or the take profit is hit. Okay, but in the other case, once this changes to red, we do exit that trade. So that is the first variation. So we would exit right there. Whether we've hit the take profit or stop loss, it doesn't really matter. So in this case, we'd have made this very small profit. So that is the main distinction. Where is it? That is the main distinction. So the strategies that use colors, we have this extension with colors, and now the other difference is the kind of money management strategy we're using. So I've just explained the first one, which is using a take profit and a stop loss. So this first one, for example, uses the take profit and the stop loss. So does this. The difference is, once a price reversal happens for this specific bot, we exit the trade. The other strategy for money management I've used is when you only have the take profit. So it's the exact same thing, but we don't have a stop loss. So if price was to keep going down, we'd have to wait for it to come back to our take profit so that that specific trade will be closed. But now, as always, wherever we have colors, we're prioritizing the color change. Even if the take profit has not been hit, there's a reversal in colors, we exit. So that explains these two. The trailing stop loss is a bit different. What happens instead is we don't have a take profit. We only have a stop loss that keeps moving. So let me just find where we have like a bit of movement that I can explain this way better. Okay, so let's say we got into the price at this point. Oh, this is a short. Forgive me, I don't use TradingView as much. I've lost it. I don't know where it went. Just use an example like this then. So let's say we get into a price. This will be like the first price we get. Change colors to maybe something like purple. Yeah, that can be seen well. So let's say this is our open price of our trade, and then we would then have a stop loss just below the price. So this value between the open and the trailing stop loss will be maybe a couple of pips, a couple of points just below. So we're in a buy trade right now. So what happens is when price moves in this direction, in the north direction, in the upward direction, and we're in a buy, if price moves with like 100 points, we want to move this stop loss to where the price currently is. So in the event the price was to reverse, would have already made this profit, and this keeps happening. So price moves 100 points, we move the stop loss, moves again, we move the stop loss, moves again, we move the stop loss. Let's say we moved it to here. So you see when price was to come down, it would now hit the trailing stop loss. So this trailing stop loss only moves up if price moves up. If price starts to move down, it remains the same. So by the end of this trade, would have kind of like made all this profit. It's like you're just scalping using that trailing stop loss. But you can see this only works when you have like a really, really good movement in price. So going back to the bots, that is what we have with these two. But at the same time, like I said, the one that has with colors, we are always prioritizing the color change. So you can use both depending on your needs. So I did some backtest on all of them. Supposed to have created this. Did some backtest. Yeah, these are the results. So I did backtest on all 6 of them on the 30 minutes and the boom 500. The backtest goes from 2018 to 2024, which was a really long time. It took almost 2 days to complete the backtest. But now, surprisingly, the one with take profit only made the most. It's the only bot that made money actually. However, something interesting to notice is, so this is the first one with a stop loss and take profit. This was the loss, and this has colors, and you can see this was, well, it didn't make money, but this improved relative to the one that doesn't have the colors baked in. So this was the only anomaly, that the one that uses the take profit only worked well without, but the one with colors didn't work as well. However, something to notice is this approach could also mean we just stayed in one trade the entire time. And if we just stayed in one trade waiting for the take profit to have been hit, it might have been, what do you call it? It might have been a case of what if we had such a huge drawdown. So this is a very unsafe way to do it, because if you don't have a big enough account, you definitely wipe it clean. However, the same case was also observed with colors. We had a better performance relative to the one without colors, using the trailing stop loss, that is. So I've explained all this up to now. If we're to go back to the code, as you can see, the code from MT5 uses these two periods, 5 and 34. So the next question I had to ask myself, is this the very best combination of moving averages? Like, why is the awesome oscillator not using, let's say, 10 and 500? Why is it not using that? So to answer that, I decided to use genetic algorithms. Let me just explain with a very small example right here. So what happens is we have a population. A population is just think of everything in the green box as everything within that green box is an individual, and the individuals form a population, and the population as a collective is like a generation, right? It actually works a lot like how evolution worked. So we had like the very first man, then there was like interbreeding, reproduction, and then over time we went from those guys up to now. Can't remember the name, but I know we are Homo sapiens, I think. So it's the same thing. From evolution perspective, that's what we're trying to achieve. So for a start, my first man, quote unquote, would be different combinations of the awesome oscillator. So maybe the first combination is 51, 304. So maybe I could change this to something else. Maybe let's say 7 and 82. We start off randomly, completely random, then 50, 200. You get the idea. Imagine all these were just random numbers. So I get the random numbers. Each of this, I give them all the data I have. I do a back test. So my definition of winning was depending on the win rate. So let's say this guy gives a win rate of 50, then this guy gives a win rate of 10, win rate of 600, oh not 660, sorry, a win rate of 6, a win rate of 7, 10, 50. So by the end of that by the end of this generation, the iterations of each individual with a back test, I would have like a good hierarchy of these are the best people in this generation, these are the best, in this case not people, these are the best combinations of the awesome oscillator. So those guys, I take those guys and then move them to the next generation. So they move to the next generation because they were the best in their generation. And then they get babies. So for example, 534, 1024, 7, 200. So this guy and this guy merge, form a baby, quote unquote. We get 525 from these guys and this guy. I would get the 10 and the 200. So we have a new baby. Then from this guy and somebody else. So we have a few babies. But now the problem is over time, something called mutation does happen. So for example, this let's say this and this make this baby. So instead of just having 5 and 25, we flip this value to something very random. It can be anything random within a given range. So we do this for a couple of guys in this new generation so that we can explore more possibilities of combinations. Then we would now then get the third generation, and we do that over and over again while just getting the very best people, the very best combination to move to the next generation, etc, etc. So for that, I started off with a population of 200. Population is these circles of random, really random values. And then I had 40 generations. So this was the first generation. Now the very best 20 people moved to the next one. For now 40 generations. And the number of parents that make the next generation is what we currently have. Get the very best 20%, then do a reproduction and some mutation. Then we keep doing this and hopefully we'll get the very, very best combination we should use with the awesome oscillator. Hope I didn't lose anyone. If I lost you, please just ask in the comment section. So that covers genetic algorithms. So you're probably wondering what the results were. Let me just show you. So after like so many iterations, the very best win rate I could get was, I couldn't get anything above 53%. The best I was getting was 52 point something. Okay. I'm going to link this in the, oh wait, we had 53, sorry. Yeah, I had a 53 somewhere, I remember. So I had 53%. Let me just check whether I have a 53. I don't think I had a 54. Yeah, the 54s, I didn't get a 54. That was a win rate. So I was getting 53 point something. Very many 53s actually. So because of that, I assume this was the very best I could do given the circumstances. However, there are a few challenges that I faced. The first one is the quality of backtesting data that I got from MT5, because I was getting everything from MT5. I was to just go to have backtest results. I saved them. So maybe the very first one. So just save this as a HTML page, but these were the results I got. You can see I only got 74% real tick data. That means over a period between 2018 and, because I started in 2018 to 2024, there was a huge chunk of data I didn't have, 26%, and I was also not very sure from which specific section that was coming from. I think that would have been such a huge task to do, but these were the results I got. So that is the main challenge. So even if I did this backtest, you cannot fully trust it because you didn't have 100% of the data, which was also perpetuated into the genetic algorithm. So this is that case where, well, garbage in, garbage out, I suppose. If I had like really accurate data, maybe would have like a more accurate representation of this. But as a general idea, this is something that can be done. You can try to optimize. So that was the genetic algorithms. I also decided to use this with AI. If you haven't been following what I do, so over the last couple of months, I've been doing, so we took this AI model from Hugging Face, and then we took that data, we took the model, we started feeding it on candlestick data. So I have a whole playlist on it. You can go check it out later. So I started off by connecting to MT5, getting the data, and then doing some backtest. We got some really good backtest on like Meta stock. It got to like 56%. But now the problem is, the AI model is on one end. So now what I'm trying to hopefully achieve is, over the next couple of videos, try to couple this AI model with other indicators and find like the very best indicator that gives us the very best results. So for the awesome oscillator, first to go to that, if I used the AI, right? If I use the AI with the 5 and the 34 awesome oscillator, so this is almost the same code that we do have in MQL5, just a different programming language. This is MQL5, this is Python. So I replicated the same code in Python. I'm using TA, it's a Python library that's used to calculate indicators, technical indicators. So I did the same thing. Then, so now the strategy changed from, we have, let me just go to trading view. So let's say this is where we're at. This happens, the crossover happens. So we know we're supposed to make a buy, right? So instead of just making a buy blindly, what I wanted to do was we first of all check what the awesome oscillator is saying. The awesome oscillator is saying that we need to buy. Then we ask the AI model, do you predict that the price will be going up or the price will be going down? If the AI also confirms that we'll be going up, we make the buy. If the AI says you're going down, we don't make the buy. So it's like we're having 2 points of confirmation. Because of that, using, where are you? Yes, so yeah. So the results, while using the awesome oscillator with the default 5 and 34, I had a 47% win rate. So this is now the awesome oscillator plus the AI. I got a 47% win rate. When I used the the genetic algorithm that gave us a almost 53%, it was of the settings 47 and 106. When I used that with the AI, I got a 49% win rate. It actually improved. But now you see here we had 1, 2, 3. We had 3 money management methods. For this, I just stuck to the safest, quote unquote, which was using the take profit and the stop loss. Like I didn't want to use the trailing SL or the TP one only, because I wanted something that is very, what do you call it? It's very defined, because sometimes even with the trailing stop loss, sometimes you might the bot usually place an order that says move the stop loss and then it doesn't. Sometimes it does happen, like I've seen it happen on backtest so many times. Sometimes it happens, it fails for whatever reason. It could be like maybe the spread, the what, but the take profit and the stop loss, it's a very defined, yes, over explaining, but that was the reasoning behind it. At the same time, I also used the colors. So if I was to take you through the backtest function, it's supposed to be here somewhere. Yeah, here we are. So here, if the awesome oscillator says we are above 0 and the prediction is up, would make a buy, and then the opposite would make a sell. It was pretty straightforward. I also the other thing I also included was the colors. This is because from the backtest results, where is it? From this backtest results, I moved. From these backtest results, you can see when we have colors involved, we are getting a better win rate, except for this one, of course. So that was also the reason why I made the backtest with the AI use the colors. Okay. And these were the results. So I'm still using the same faulty data, so don't take this as like very serious backtest. I think really good quality data is very expensive to come by. There is not a lot of free data that will just be given, especially for such a long backtest period. I'm here to get a good provider for data. If I do, maybe I'll repeat this, but this took like 2 days to just run this, because it's like a humongous amount of data. Like it's so much. It was a lot of data. 30 minutes. It's like keeps going. All these rows. It took a couple of days to just finish this one. It's a lot of data. And it was very but the thing that really made this easy was that I was using the AI model that I've hosted, which also allows me to like test my current product, see whether it's working. I have made a whole video about that in my very last video, actually the video before this one. Explained how I started. Where is it? Yeah, you can also watch the genetic algorithms one. I've explained what I did. So I went through like from start to finish how I started this side hustle of the AI model. So that made that way easier to do. And that is the awesome oscillator. So I'm going to be going through this list from, if you come here, indicators. Where is indicators? Indicators. Here you can see we have so many indicators. So I want to keep going down this list and find the very best indicator that completely pairs so well with the AI, and also see how it's being improved upon every time we do some optimizations with genetic algorithms. So now I had said I had 7 instead of like this one. So you won't be getting this bot. This is because for whatever reason, let me just go to derive and show you. So for whatever reason, whenever I tried to turn the code into a bot using the custom fields that we have. If you were to check the awesome oscillator, you can see it doesn't really come with a place to say I want my fast and my slow to be 534. It doesn't have that ability to help you use, like, let's say 47 and 106. So I try to make it work with the given MQL5 code that's coming from the